What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 3 of the Extraction Zone podcast all about Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. I'm Gilgamesh V9, also known as Jonah. Who do we have with me this evening?
I'm Shredder. I'm here this evening.
I'm John.
I'm Violated Muffins, also known as Jordan.
And in this episode, starting this episode, we have with us a very special guest. Why don't you introduce yourself, sir?
Hey guys. Well, my name's Dan. I am Ginger Ninja on Reddit. If you guys browse the subreddit there, you've probably seen, me make a long-winded post at least once before, possibly multiple times per week if you browse a lot. I'm 24, I'm from Massachusetts, and I've liked video games for most of my life. Kind of had my introduction to BioWare with Knights of the Old Republic as a kid, and, really loved that game. When I got a PC that was actually capable of running video games a couple years ago, the Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2 were some of the first games I bought. I was really hyped for Mass Effect 3 and, bought it on launch day and, have been pretty much playing the multiplayer ever since. So really happy to be here to talk with you guys about it.
Good to have you on the show, Dan.
Glad to have you.
Yeah. Also, real quick, before we get into the meat of things, I just want to say I apologize on behalf of hopefully my co-hosts as well for not getting this episode out sooner. We had a lot of scheduling concerns, and then also last week we recorded this episode, and then my computer pooped and didn't record it. So doing it again. Sorry for the delay. We'll be better next time. Hopefully.
You guys
No,
heard
that totally never happened. This is the first time I've been on as a guest, and yeah. No, these guys are just really late. We definitely didn't have a full one ready to go last week.
Alright, so we we did the challenge that we assigned ourselves last week. Shredder, why don't you talk about yours first?
Well, we never talked about that before. So, for the challenge, as we don't remember, it was use a really heavy weapon on a powered base kit, or use a really weak weapon on a weapons-based kit, which is kind of vague. So I decided to go with a Predator and a Mantis on a regular human soldier. I think I brought AP rounds, and I was kind of depending on the Mantis doing a shoot, adrenaline rush, reload, and shoot again for most of my damage. Against Cerberus on Reactor, it was I kind of hurt my finger trying to click on the Predator. I really should use the Avenger. But I was actually surprised that the Mantis actually pulled its weight pretty far. I had Pulse played with Meowmageddon on the subreddit. He was playing a Quarry male infiltrator, and I was only 10k points behind him. But then again, I used all 6 of my missiles, because on Wave 10 was Assassination. I was like, alright, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Just nuke all the spawns. Let's get it over.
Sounds a lot like our challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Xbox team, how was your challenge?
I think the first attempt we failed, right? And then the second attempt we did it.
Only because the Banshee cheated. I had that way bag.
Yeah, you did. That was some bullshit. Yeah.
Threw a wall behind me, and then I moonwalk over to it, and hey, what's up, baby? How you doing? Just get slaughtered. That was really cool.
What was your guys' builds?
I was a female human infiltrator, so I could do the cryoblast shoot with Mantis thing. That was what I did.
And both times I ran I think it was Tyrion Soldier. Yeah, Tyrion Soldier with the Cryoblast and the Stim Pack, and I used a Avenger on it, just the cheesiest of the cheese guns.
Sure.
Because I would consider that a weapon-based class, because all you do is you cryo and you Stim Pack things to death. It worked alright. Thinking back on it, I probably should have used the Phaeton, because I think that's uncommon. So, oh well. Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah. Wasn't it just common weapons, though? I can't remember.
I thought it was common and uncommon. Was I mistaken? So I actually picked the right gun then?
I think it was just common. I'm fairly certain. But, I don't know. Doesn't really matter, I guess.
I think I was a Quarian engineer. I kind of cheated a bit, sorry. Cause literally every single build of uncommon put me in either a really unfair recharge or in the sorta almost zero, but not really. So I went with the Wraith and Revenant first time, and then I went with the Wraith and Collector second time. With cryo ammo on both times. I think so.
But, I mean, it definitely made me appreciate the Mantis more. I think if we're supposed to learn things from these challenges, I'm with you, Shredder. I think the Mantis is, pulls its weight even on gold. So, that was alright. I didn't know about the double shot thing, though, so that would have been nice to use. Or, I'd use it on the Claymore, but not the Mantis. Like, I didn't bridge that gap.
Speaking of Claymore really fast, I actually found a way to reload cancel on the console somewhat effectively.
Mm-hmm.
If you have your powers on cooldown, you can press the power button and it'll reload cancel that way. So I was working on the vanilla Turian, and so whenever I would warp and have that on cooldown, I'd shoot, reload cancel, shoot, reload cancel. That one's back up. You're kind of effed, but
It's so adorable that you console finally had to reload cancel. And here on PC,
I've been reload canceling for almost 2 years. You just press A. Just press A.
But then that gets rid of your momentum and puts you in bad positions.
I mean, alright, that's fair enough, but...
Yeah,
Hey,
does
you
it
say
always
potato,
work for
I
you?
say
I've had
potato.
some problems, like, reload canceling the spacebar anyway.
I use Metagel.
Oh yeah, that's definitely how you do it, like now. I just have that bound to left alt. Couldn't be easier.
Yeah, reaching all the way over to the D-pad doesn't work for us console scrubs, so, yeah.
So, on tonight's topic,
Yeah, I was gonna say, so anything else you want to say about our challenges, or are we good to move on to the meat and potatoes?
just one comment.
Yes?
Concussive shot, really good. When your gun doesn't do any damage, concussive shot's really handy to have.
Yeah. Okay, so this episode we decided our topic was going to be the on-disc, not common characters, so all the uncommon and rare characters that came on the disc. Anyway, we want to start that, just go down the list. I know we talked about some of them
Basically
in previous
all the
podcasts.
aliens, right?
Yeah, all aliens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Aliens.
You humans are all racist.
Oh, yeah.
Aliens are terrible.
They got covered in the last podcast, so we need to give some of the others a chance.
To catch up.
Yeah. I mean, alphabetically, Astoria Adept is first, so let's just start with that.
Oh.
What do you guys think of the Astoria Adept?
Jonah wanting to talk about Asari. What a surprise.
You know what?
Favorite class in the game, by far.
Yeah.
I love that character so much.
Stasis is the most overpowered thing ever. In my
Well, until
opinion.
you face against a Dragoon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, if you're going
never
against
mind.
a
Never
Phantom
mind
or
on
Dragoon,
Yeah.
it's either amazing or it's worthless in my book. I don't think it has a lot of middle ground.
It either
Well-
will work or won't work. Alright, John Madden.
Alright, I'm that one this time. Woohoo.
Go.
Legend continues.
The podcast is still young.
What was I gonna say? For Asari Adept, for me, it's stasis, and if it's armor, you just warp out of it, and that's it. Like, I don't even use throw. Stasis and warp is like one of the most defining characteristics of the Asari Adept.
I will disagree.
I guess this is the part where I kind of like grumble something into my microphone, right?
Sure, yeah.
Well, Dan, tell me.
Lights to throw
Tell me
is how
now.
you kill every mid
Man, you know,
level character.
I actually just wrote a post about the Asari Adept on Reddit, in that thread where everyone asked who your favorite adept was. Let me see if I can find it, because I feel like it pretty much perfectly highlighted everything I would want to say about her.
Well, Jonah, since you brought it
I could
up,
just
what
wing
do
it. Yeah.
you think about it?
If one of you guys wants to say something.
I think it's definitely a very strong class. It's not flashy, so I don't think it sees as much use as it deserves. But I think the Asari Adept is definitely a very strong class. Warp Throw, for me, just always good. Explosions are nice. But then, I very rarely use Stasis on her. I think I have maybe like 3 points in it. But if I want to use Stasis, I do the Stasis sniping, but I do that on the Asari Vanguard instead, so. I think Warp Throw, John, I think you're being dumb by not using Throw. Throw's amazing.
Well, no, it's not that. Like, I can't utilize. I mean, like, I prefer using weapons in lieu of biotic explosions. And for me, when I use throw, it's like I have to keep shooting them after I use a power. So like when I use throw, I would have to find them, and they're like on the ground, and like.
Or you just throw them again.
Yeah, I can't really. I like they're usually behind cover, so I can't warp them properly. Like it's just a mess of problems for me. That's why I don't really use throw that much.
How to
Alright,
the bullet.
I mean-
Channel Angelina. Come on.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Obscure references. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Alright, well I talked about Vanguard. What do you guys do on her? Because that's one class that I really just don't understand how to play. Like, I just don't.
I think it's more of a gimmick than anything. I don't think it really can be played seriously. Can it?
Man, I don't know. With the Astoria Vanguard, like, I've never mastered that class really. Like, I sort of played her, kind of as the game was released, but when I see other people who really know what they're doing with their play, like, it's a really strong class. I kind of, joke around that I feel like there must just be something coded into the game where Astoria Vanguards just get double points for all actions they do compared to other classes. Because it's crazy. Like, you see them playing and, they're killing stuff with lift grenades and charge and shooting with their gun or whatever. A lot of times they won't even get warp ammo damage bonus against the bosses unless they're on a biotic team and somebody else is priming for them. But, like, they just get ridiculous scores and are just totally dominating games, when they're played well. So, I can't really offer any insight into, how exactly that's done, but I would definitely say, it's a high tier class, if not top tier.
I could explain something why, because Biotic Charge in rank 5 has that power synergy bonus, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Lift grenades, how hard those things hit?
Very hard.
Probably break 30k, which is probably more than enough to annihilate a Phantom. You can stasis something, it's like, oh, I don't know what to do, stasis. I know Aaron A put a guide on it. I prefer to do stasis sniper myself because I hate Biotic Charge. Spoiler, I know.
Yeah.
But with charge, damage bonus, and lift grenades, you could honk out some serious damage. Easily.
So you would just
Unless you have
spam
the
lift
dodge.
grenades on bosses? That's how you handle a Banshee, is just grenade, grenade, grenade. Yeah?
Yeah,
Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what I think. It's like, man, should a class that appears to be so grenade reliant be that powerful? But apparently, yeah. They just, sorry, Vanguards just murder everything.
Spoiler, grenades are good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, the Drell Adept is a grenade class, but that's still pretty strong. I think also the other thing is people use I see the incendiary ammo and then detonating it with charge. I see a lot of Astoria, like, when I see him, I see Astoria Vanguard do that. I think there was a build, it was called, like, the Fire Squid or something on the BSN about that. But they was, like, basically just, like, use the Acolyte with incendiary ammo and then just charge and then lift grenade and blow everything up.
And hope you don't get gibbed.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's essentially, yeah, I think somebody did a post with like a video with that playstyle on the subreddit a while ago. And yeah, I remember saying, it's basically Acolyte throw, except you're the throw now. And you can only do it half as much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, charge in and hope you don't get gibbed is all the Vanguards. So, with maybe the exception of like the Cabal.
The N7 guy, you could do an instant teleport backwards, and that avoids it 99% of the time.
Yeah, you're a little safer with the Slayer, with your light melee reduction as well.
Oh, yeah, forgot about that.
Doesn't protect you from sig kills, of course.
Nothing can.
But, like Jordan said, you just mash your backwards teleport.
Yeah. Alright, so, also in a similar vein, the Drell Vanguard. Never ever, oh sorry, Shredder, do you have something to say?
No, I was just gonna say, it looks like we're done with the sorry, so I was gonna go with Drell Vanguard.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Sorry,
like,
I just
Drell
wasted a
Vanguard.
bunch of air.
I feel like it's the same way, but, like, is it just this, like, you charge and then you cluster grenade with the power evo? Like, is that what you do?
Yeah, I feel like
cluster grenade all the time.
Yeah, I feel like I could say almost pretty much the exact same thing that I did with the Astoria Vanguard, where I don't get the class personally, but then I watch good players, play it, and they completely just wreck shit. So, I don't know, man. Yeah, just have grenade capacity equipped, and don't be afraid to burn your ammo packs, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, that's just one of them I just don't get, but maybe I need to give it another shot. Who knows?
Shredder gets it, because it's
Yeah.
grenades.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I
right.
think some people do, Acolyte pull charge with him, but, I mean, at that point, just play Drell Adept and do what Reven said.
Yeah.
And you can kinda, just chill at mid-range instead of charging into a group of enemies with like 300 shields or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, the barriers are too low, man. Because like your health, because you start taking health damage and that doesn't recharge, or recharge, and then you're sitting at like Volus durability for the rest of the wave. If you get taken down to health gate, which is pretty common, because I feel like if you're charging into things, you're probably going to take some damage. So I don't know. I feel like that's, now that I think about it, that's almost less viable than the Astoria, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those, classes you see people recommend to take bonus power on, for charge.
Mm-hmm.
Just like to have the option of restoring your shield gate. Just, come up more frequently.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, cluster grenade only detonates. It doesn't prime, does it?
Correct.
Yeah, it only detonates.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, lift grenades have prime. And
I was
detonate,
thinking
too.
maybe if you could like cluster grenade in there, run in there, and then when you're about to die, then do a charge, but guess not.
that'd be
Never mind.
If they had a lift evo, then that would work, but I think they have damage to lifted targets, which is misleading because they don't have to be lifted, they just need to be primed. Figured that out.
Yeah, it was so long before I knew that.
Yeah. So, Drell Adept then? You're talking about that.
Yeah.
Well, sort of.
Everything's useful except for Reed.
Oh, you want to know about Drell Adept?
It
I can tell you about
what?
Drell Adept.
Alright, please talk, Dan, because
Wait, did you just say everything was useful except for Reed?
that's
Phil?
what John said.
Oh my
Well,
god.
I haven't really played him, so I could
Okay,
be
this is
stupid.
another thing, like, Shockwave's bad, but I only put 3 points in it. Like, here's your problem.
Yeah, I mean, like, arguably, when the game first started out, like, Reeve was the only useful thing about Drell Adept. Like, if he didn't have that power, nobody would have played him, but he did, so he was just, the centerpiece of every biotic team, and kind of still continues to be him or the Justicar, who, they basically fill very similar roles to each other, but yeah. Drell Adept is the shit. He's probably my second favorite Adept to play. He's just, generally awesome. I would say he is top tier as hell. I use him with the Acolyte now, which I feel kind of like lets you actually play like a true Adept and not have to, have sort of powers and weapon hybrid, style going on. When the game was originally released, obviously you kind of had to do that, and most people would just completely ignore pull because, it's only useful on enemies with health, and you gotta shoot them anyway, so why not just equip warp ammo, and just reave them and kind of do biotic soldier style stuff. Pull's a lot more useful when you have the ability to instantly get rid of all shields. That's generally how I do it because it pretty much, prevents enemies from ever being able to shoot at you at all unless they have armor. And if they do have armor, you just reave and cluster grenades. That's sort of the bread and butter of how most people play the class. And the good thing about it is that, when you're using pull and detonating with reave to kill anything that doesn't have armor, just means you have more grenades for when, they're actually worth the money.
Yeah.
Or the ammo box.
I guess I never really thought about it that way. I mean, I don't know. I always view Adepts as squishy, but or glass cannons really. So I guess I'll try the Drell Adept more.
Oh yeah, he's real fun.
How do you kill bosses besides just spamming reave and shooting and just slowly whittling them down? I feel like that takes ages to kill anything.
Well, I mean,
Or
I
if you're
bring the
solo.
Hurricane secondary, so I guess it's not a true, no weapons class. But, if you're using warp ammo, you still get, pretty respectable damage with a decent weapon, just shooting at primed enemies. But also, bosses have armor. I'll chuck a cluster grenade at them, get a, powered up explosion with that, the lifted damage bonus, like Jonas said. And, also generally, I'm not gonna play Drell Adept unless, there's at least one other biotic class on the team that can sort of detonate the reaves, because that's really the true strength of the class is, synergizing your reave spam with somebody else's power spam and just creating these explosions every couple seconds or so.
Oh, okay. I always just picked characters to be lone wolves.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
if that's a team player class, then that would explain a lot.
Yeah, I think, I say this all the time, but I think, Drell Adept and Astoria Adept are probably the best, class pairing, just in the entire game of any possible 2-class combo.
Yeah.
Just, Reeve and Warp are too good.
why is Sorry Adept over your baby, the Human Sentinel?
Oh, Human Sentinel's great too, but I don't know. I think, Astoria Adept has stasis. They're both kind of squishy, so, say you get surprised, you're, by an enemy flanking you or whatever, she kind of has that as a panic button.
Okay.
Human Sentinel's great too, but, he doesn't have that. You gotta be a little more on point.
Which of these classes on our little Chinese menu of classes here, do you think would be most effective as a tank of sorts?
Krogan, Soldier, or Sentinel, I'd say.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Krogan Soldier was actually a really popular class when the game first started out.
I still use him. He's so good. Because at first it was a sort of like, because Krogans were my favorite race, as I'm sure a lot of people can agree. So when I saw that you could play as a Krogan in the multiplayer, I was all over it. And then as soon as I remember buying like Spectre packs with real money until I got a Krogan, and it was the Krogan Sentinel, and I was like, alright, I'm good. So, and ever since then, I've just loved Krogans, and I still use that class pretty frequently. I wouldn't say it's as viable as other things, but it's still really fun. So I don't know, it's good.
Yeah, he's got them Inferno grenades.
Yeah. Oh man, they're so good.
And don't forget Rage.
Yeah, I haven't tried him since they changed how fire explosions work, because I know you can throw out an Inferno grenade and then detonate with Carnage. I haven't tried that, but maybe I will next time, now that I'm promoting things again. So we'll see.
I've definitely seen people do really well with him, even in modern games.
I actually wanted to ask about fire explosions at some point during this, and I guess that's a pretty decent segue.
Sure, yeah.
I've been having trouble in my N7 Paladin getting fire explosions by doing the incinerate to shield drain or energy drain. What am I doing wrong? I have the lasting damage. I don't know what's going on. Jonah.
This one shred.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh,
Yeah,
So-
Shredder's got this one.
Energy Drain will only detonate if you have the Shield Drain active. Effect. It's called Shield Drain effect active. In order to basically means you need to damage synthetics with your Energy Drain, or you need to somehow be draining shields so you recover some.
so I should go incinerate to snap freeze?
Yes.
The explosion centers on you visually, at least, if I remember correctly on that.
It actually is on you, because that's similar, like, if the way that power works, it's cast from yourself, and then it's a cone. It's like, you can see this on arc grenades as well. If you prime something with arc grenades, and you throw an arc grenade and it detonates it, the explosion will be centered on the center of the arc grenade, not on the target. It's
So
just,
basically, give up on fire explosions on that class unless I use my shield? Is that what I'm understanding correctly?
that's a really good way to do it, is to have the fire shield, and then hit them, and then snap freeze. But if you ask me, I usually do snap freeze to prime, and then incinerate to detonate. That's what I do.
Energy Drain's kind of a so-so detonator in that regard. You cannot do it on organics.
Yeah, against
Yeah.
Gath, that's great, but on, like, Reapers or something, not.
Okay. That explains a lot. I was wondering why I'd get it like 1 out of every 3 times I tried to get a fire explosion, and I just eventually gave up.
Yeah. I didn't figure that out for a while, too, so.
Just a question about that. If any of you guys know, like in terms of how explosion damage is applied, would the fire explosion happen, after the actual damage energy drain does the shields there?
Yes.
Because,
Yes.
okay. And that wouldn't be as bad then. Yeah, because if it was applied, then it's like, oh, hey, great, you're doing a fire explosion to shields. But if most of them are not already, I guess it probably packs a pretty significant punch still.
Yeah. That's
do-
always been a weird intricacy.
On the subject of energy drain, though, I guess this could be a good place to segue into. I feel like the Silurian engineer kind of deserves a discussion here, because I'm honestly not sure what other topic he would be discussed in. Just with the current state of the game.
Yeah.
I think he's probably generally considered to be one of the weakest classes now.
Isn't he revered in gold waves because he could aggro enemies with decoy?
Used to be, before they changed how decoy works.
This is another class I could talk about for a while because, kind of in the infancy of the game, Silurian Engineer was an absolute must-have class on most teams. He was sort of, the class that made the original Firebase White Geth farming strategy viable at all. This dude was, when I first started playing gold, I tried them out, and you could pretty much just win a gold game, no matter who else was on your team. It didn't matter if everybody else went down. You could just find a corner where you couldn't be flanked or attacked from behind and drop your decoy and just slowly whittle enemies to death, just with, the pathetic damage of your, Phalanx 2 or whatever gun you had.
Yeah.
And just, the little, chip damage with Incinerate on Get Primes. But yeah, I mean, decoy was so good, in those early stages of the game. And, BioWare obviously kind of nerfed it to, man, I don't even know. I would say near unusable status, but I kind of just haven't even played Silurian Engineer since pretty much, so I couldn't even speak to how well it does now.
So you can check yourself out without needing a mirror.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny, if you were dead and your decoy was also be on the ground, but they'd still be shooting at it. Make sure he's really dead this time, and I don't know. That was always funny to me.
How about his cousin, the Infiltrator?
Oh, Infiltrator's so good.
Oh yeah, that's another, I think he and Astoria Adept are the two classes that everyone pretty much universally recognized as God tier in the beginning of the game and kind of still persist, till the end of the game. I think Turian Soldier is right up there with them, but I feel like he probably didn't get as much love early on because people didn't have the weapons that make him so good.
Mm-hmm.
Or Marksman getting buffed.
Infiltrator is awesome.
Yeah,
I
Marksman.
didn't even know Marksman actually got a buff to it.
Well, you remember how Adrenaline Rush restocks your ammo? You use it?
Oh yeah, Marksman
did not have that initially.
I remember texting my friend at work, because he loves the Turian Soldier. I remember, in the bathroom at work, reading the balance changes, and I texted him, while I was on the toilet. I was like, dude, they buffed Marksman. And he's like, yeah! He got so excited.
Did they actually, give it any other stuff to, boosting, accuracy and firing rate, though?
I think so. I'd have to
Or was it just the instant reload?
As far as I remember, the instant reload was most important.
Yeah. It might have been, another 5% to damage.
Forget the shooting part, the reloading.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you still, theoretically, if you had a Hurricane 10 at the beginning of the game, even before it got the instant reload, you still would have been cleanly topping boards as Turian Soldier.
Oh, yeah.
That dude is just legendary.
Speaking of fun facts about Marksman, I remember mentioning the second episode talking about humans, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, You know how I mentioned how Adrenaline Rush can be used to cancel out Seeker Swarms?
Yes.
You could do the same thing with Marksman. If you're about to get Seeker Swarmed, you can activate Marksman, you get Seeker Swarmed, and then you go off, as soon as you get off cooldown with Marksman, you're not really affected by Seeker Swarm.
I still have yet to utilize that, but it's up here now. It's in the game, so you got it.
Things that happen when you spend way too much time.
Oh yeah. Alright, Jordan, you said you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question about the Turian. So I've been working on the Turian Sentinel lately. I thought that was a fun class. I saw somebody score really high with it using the Lancer.
I love the Turian Sentinel.
Yeah,
and so I've been playing it, and I feel like at this point I'm so reliant on dodge to keep myself alive. What should I do without dodge to actually live? I feel so gimped. It's
the real answer to this question is equip a Cyclonic Modulator 4 and completely forget that the dodge mechanic exists in this game. Because you could get, really tanky with the Turian Sentinel if you use one of those on him.
I hate having to rely on equipment. I feel like I'm just, giving myself a crutch. But if I have to do it, I have to do it.
I'm with you there.
You
put on
tech armor. How could you not protect yourself? I don't understand. For me, it's the hardest for me to get down on that class. I only get down on that class when I'm being stupid and I go into a group trying to tech armor everybody. I don't know. Maybe I just gimp my warp so much that I end up one-shotting everything, but I don't know. That is my most useful power class, Turian Sentinel.
Or you can not get shot. That's generally a pretty good answer.
I was gonna say, I almost always play in mid-range where I can take advantage of Marksman and then be in cover and then just have, a laser beam. So the dodge doesn't really bother me.
Jordan, your microphone.
Yeah. It's doing the business again.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties, folks. Hang on.
Even though the Turian can't dodge out of cover, he can still roll in between two pieces of cover.
Yeah.
Which I found really odd.
So dumb.
He's the only one to do that, as far as I know.
I think so, yeah.
And Garrus can also roll, so that's fun too.
Wait, when do you ever see Garrus roll?
I'm not kidding. He actually rolls in the single player. Like not even in cover. He just does it. It's really weird.
What? Really?
I swear.
I've never noticed that.
Now I have to play the single player again.
Couldn't roll out of the way of that gunship rocket in Mass Effect 2, that's for sure.
Doesn't matter, he just tanked it. He had a cyclonic form.
Wow.
He couldn't use tactical cloak. It was a really crappy
He has
experience for him.
his rapid fire widow.
Spec wrong.
Yeah, I
All
didn't
those
get
points of
the
fitness.
I didn't get the Citadel DLC or whatever it's called for 3, but I remember watching like a montage of all the random dialogue clips they had, and there was definitely one just talking about, it was like some Turian talking to a random other NPC just about like rolling and how basically like just like their knees aren't like good enough to roll all the time, and like the Reapers, you know, their augmentations that they added to the Marauders allowing them to roll.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
It's
too.
like
Anyways, back to the topic.
Turns to roll or being in cover.
Back to the topic at hand. I think Quarry and Engineer is good for scoring up points, in my opinion.
Love the Quarry Engineer.
I
Not
know.
loved initially because Incinerate and Cryoblast had terrible synergy. Like, the freeze evolution on Incinerate didn't work.
Yeah, and then,
Cryoblast is just like, nah, not proximity mine.
yeah, it's interesting. Before they buffed the tech explosions, I specter like maximum turret, cause I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that she has the best pet. Like the Quarian turret, I feel like is the best turret in the game. Like, it's better than the combat drone. You could argue that the Geth turret is pretty good too, but that's more of a utility kind of thing. And decoy is kind of, I don't know, not very great offensively.
Do you equip it with shock or more damage?
I go more damage and then I give him rockets, I think is what I did.
Rockets. Oh no, flamethrowers where it's at, man.
Why wouldn't
You burn your enemies and then you freeze them and then you burn them some more.
You do fire explosions with your flamethrower.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you couldn't do that before, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, we're talking about past. Okay.
Yeah, now I do the
present.
Incinerate Cryoblast because that's way too good. But yeah, what were you saying, Shredder? You said...
I disagree with the little throwy turret being very good of the 4 pets. Yeah, I kind of agree decoy is kind of meh, especially now no longer magnetized enemies. Combat turret's pretty good. I mean, it'll hold its own. Combat drone does have the advantage of being able to move,
Yeah.
That's a really big.
which is really big. Then of
Yeah,
course
but
you have
then
Geth
you
turret.
like. I'm sorry. Continue.
Then you have Geth turret, which is really nice to instantly recharge shields and flamethrower. That's
Well,
the
the
end of
thing with the combat drone is like you equip it with missiles and you're like, man, I'm gonna get so much damage, and then it shoots in the wall, and I'm like, okay, maybe missiles isn't the way to go
Yeah,
because it
combat,
always
that.
shoots at the
Use a few
wall.
processors.
yeah, combat drone, you go the suicide drone. That's where it's at. But yeah, I think now that the tech thing is fixed, not only the evolution that makes it do double damage against chilled targets, but like against Reapers, I think especially the Quarian Engineer is really good. Which is strange because most of the Quarian classes, like thematically and lore wise, it makes sense that they'd be good against the Geth and they're reflected as such. But I feel like of all the factions that the Quarian Engineer can fight against, this Geth is its weakest. Or weakest.
How's it
enemy.
weak?
No shield.
Oh,
It really
right.
can't puncture shields on
Yeah.
other maps. Incinerate does poor against shields. Cryoblast is 50 points of damage. Yeah, so you ever see someone get a Cryoblast kill, that's why. They did 50 points of damage. The last 50 points of damage. And then combat turret, well, the Geth likes shooting things.
Yeah. So like, which is strange because like on the other side then is the Infiltrator, which has Sabotage, which I would say is only very useful against the Geth, like Cerberus to a limited amount, and it does the stagger thing, which is nice.
Can it like?
Yeah, I think
mess
Sabotage is really underrated against non-Geth person.
Can it mess up enemies like magazines as well, or something like that? Like
Yeah.
it jams their gun.
Makes
I'm
them
not sure if
backfire.
it actually jams their gun. It does additional damage to them after a couple seconds. That seems to be the most prevalent thing. But also, like you said, it stuns them in place, which is, so useful on an infiltrator, just because you can bring a single shot weapon and just lining up headshots is so easy after that.
Yeah, especially with phasic rounds now. Yeah, I guess I have to experiment.
Or yeah,
with
I guess
that more.
not single shot weapon, but like a semi-auto weapon.
Anything. Stunning things is always good. But
It will also light. Sorry.
No, I was rambling.
It'll also light pyro jetpacks on fire, or fuel tanks on fire, right?
That's penetrating through. You just have to shoot the fuel tank to light on fire.
I
Yeah,
was sworn that there was
Sabotage does that. Sabotage will just control them and, make
I
them.
was sworn there was one that did.
If that
No,
is
if
someone
you shoot
that,
them in the head, if you're looking towards them, they're coming towards you. Like, I'm going to burn you to the crisp. If you shoot with a cover penetrating weapon to their head, it will hit their fuel tank. If you hit their fuel tank once the shields are down, you will cause it to start leaking, and then it'll explode in a beautiful propane explosion.
Yeah. I know that. I just thought that there was like some sort of ability that blew up the fuel tanks instantly. I guess it was just the weapons malfunctioning and exploding.
No, there's an ability. It's called shooting them.
Oh, that ability. Oh, that explains why I'm so bad at this game.
I mean,
You mean you get
Let's wait for
guns?
the cooldown
What?
on that. It's way too hard.
you're the
that's why I
power
hate it so
guy.
much. I don't know.
Oh, I'm on the wiki page checking if that's correct. It doesn't mention that it blows up the fuel tanks just by itself, but it won't.
It might just be the gun malfunction that
It
I'm
seems
remembering.
like something that should happen, but,
That'd be awesome. It'd be way better.
who this game's developed by. I feel like that's something that would happen, like in single player. They have all those things where you could, overload a shield generator and damage enemies that way, but
Into an Atlas map.
none of it really carried over.
Yeah. I think, but you should still sabotage pyros, because they're like right next to the guys and they have flamethrowers, and those flamethrowers are really good, so.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Patch the flamethrowers so that they're longer. I don't know if they did. I just feel like they did.
They did, and they didn't fix the animation, so you're getting hit with the flames even before they,
A lot of it's lag too.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
gonna.
you're out of their range on your screen, but on the host screen, you're still in their range, so you're still taking damage.
Or it could be the animation. I know in Team Fortress 2, the pyro flamethrower. Sorry. With the pyro flamethrower, when you're moving forward, so it projects to a certain distance, and as you're moving forward, it looks like it's only 80% of the range. It's actually 100% of the range, so it's like, this pyro didn't catch me on fire when in the game. If you only looked at the data of the game, yeah, you were within range, but visually didn't.
I seem to remember.
As moving forward.
I seem to remember them doing something with the range and then not fixing the animation, though. I very clearly remember that, and I can't remember if they fixed it or not. But then I know another reason people don't notice it as much is because I think they still only start the flamingness when you're in their original range, so then when you're running away, you're still taking more. But I could be wrong on that.
I think the Geths just hate us.
Geths suck.
We farmed them for like 5 months, and then we had what was coming to us.
Yeah.
Hey, at least they don't have sync kills.
Yeah, good for Vanguards, but I don't know. I feel like they handled the farming thing the wrong way. Because
probably like the Juggernaut heavy melee, you would probably like hold you up for a few seconds as you gain
that would actually be pretty cool.
That'd be awesome, but I'd want to kill someone at BioWare.
Because it takes forever to
You know what?
kill
Just
it. Like,
burn
come on.
Canada
Yeah,
to the
it has a
ground.
10 meter radius around. Yeah, a 10 meter radius around the Geth Prime.
Meteor.
The only logical, or the only sane thing to do after BioWare implemented that was to burn Canada to the ground.
yeah, there's tons of trees. It's very flammable.
Also, Geth Primes now have biotic charge.
Oh no! Oh, see,
Stop
now we're just. This is like the co-op horror show threads that we see. Like, what if?
Yeah. Actually, you know what? That's lore breaking. Geth Primes now have Havoc Strike.
I was gonna say, people are like, why isn't there a Geth Vanguard? I was like, you know how biotics work, right? Like, it's not.
Well, I'll actually disagree on that, since the way EZO works is that you basically induce a magnetic field to alter something's mass.
But they're
I don't
bots.
see a reason why not. I don't see a reason why not a robot could develop a machine to heck, how does light speed travel work? You basically use a machine. It's not like it's powered by some organic computer.
You know what, let's just tear apart every little plot hole in Mass Effect right now.
No, you know what?
Yeah.
But you see, it's blue, so only living creatures. Like, come on.
I'm actually with you, Shredder. Because if you
Let's be
think about
reasonable
it,
here.
the way that the relays work is it makes a massless corridor, and then you just go along that as however fast you want, because physics don't matter anymore. So, like, you're right, and like the guns do the same thing. Like, they just accelerate the particles with Mass Effect fields. So I feel like that actually would work. Never, I feel stupid. Good, thank you, Shredder. I appreciate it. Actually.
Welcome to the Science Podcast, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm John. This is Jonah. Let's go.
Let's talk about some thermodynamic models and entropy.
Nope.
Okay. No.
Did that before the podcast.
Which class do you think has the weakest, other than obviously the decoy? Which class do you think has a really weak?
Howard?
Can I clarify my second John Madden moment of the podcast
Yes.
really fast? Okay. So I found what I was looking for in Sabotage Rank 5. The first one's Exploding Hack. Synthetics explode when destroyed, dealing X points of damage across 4 meter radius. I thought that was only on Pyro since I don't ever use techies very much.
See, that's an easy mistake to make. I think we forgive you.
So you're saying that it will always work, and may not or may will work.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
guess,
click on
well,
this.
against all synthetics as well then. Except Atlases, I guess. Well, or is that when Sabotage expires, or is that when they die?
They die.
It's when you get a
Okay.
kill with it, I believe.
But I mean, Atlases already blow up.
Yeah, I wonder if Sabotage still has to be active for that to work.
I believe it has to be active, and target dies while it's active. You get the explosion.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. See, that's another, if it was just that they blew up when or after they were sabotaged, even if they weren't sabotaged still, I think it'd be better, be more useful then, but I don't know. Because like we said, its main utility, I feel like at this point, is just stunning things. So, I don't know. Anyway, what were you saying, John? You started to ask a question.
Which class do you think has, other than decoy, obviously, which class do you think has the weakest power, and what's the best way to make it more bearable, in my opinion, in your guys' opinion?
Of the classes we're talking about this episode, or
Yeah.
just in general?
This episode.
Oh, I'd have to look at the list then.
I would say if you didn't have the Acolyte, it would be Pole, because Pole only works on health targets.
Hey, let's not forget about those Guardian shields. Come on.
Hey, you're right there.
Oh yeah, I forgot
yeah.
about that.
I would probably agree with Pole, although even before the Acolyte was added, I still took 3 points in it just to, like when I did get them down to health, I would just use Pole on them to ensure they couldn't shoot me. But yeah, like looking at the list here, I don't really
Sentry
see
turret,
any
maybe?
others that jump out at me. I would probably say Sentry Turret just because engineers in general are probably my least favorite class, and I've barely touched the Quarian engineer at all. At the same time, I feel like that doesn't really give me a lot of right to talk shit about it.
I know.
But I don't know. The
Shouldn't.
Sentry Turret just
It's my
kind of.
favorite class. Sorry, continue. I was just making it too.
Oh yeah. Geez, I don't know. I would just say Decoy, even though it used to be just turn you into the invincible tank god. Now it's just pretty much just like as you said, just a mirror to check yourself out in.
Yeah.
Now, if you're sorry, you can check your ass out twice at the same time.
If
Mm-hmm.
only they had.
Wait, Asari has decoy?
No.
Sorry,
Well,
Decoy.
I was about to say, I was just like, oh my god.
I had a
My
very
teammates don't do anything
bad
all
shot
game.
at
They
it.
just sit in the landing zone and just cast Decoy over and over.
I think either pull or decoy. I think I'd say pull, probably, because decoy still has its uses. But I think pull is useful in such a narrow,
It doesn't detonate?
number of situations. It
No.
primes, doesn't detonate.
Oh.
Now that I'm playing gold, I think it's especially not as useful because you have way more things that have armor and that can't be pulled and stuff like that. I think on bronze, if you're just starting out, pull is really good. I remember that was how I played the Drell Adept when I was still on bronze. It's just pull and then reeve. I had 3 points in cluster grenades. But that was, like I said, that was back when I was bad and most of the enemies had health anyway, so
I mean, if you bring an Acolyte, that exact strategy still, pretty much perfectly works on gold.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's just the contingency to it. You gotta, be able to tolerate that gun and all its weird mechanics.
Yeah, I'm
Bounce.
It's warming up. I'm warming up to it. So.
I'd have to say Sabotage, but it seems like I'm the only one that doesn't like that power, so I think
Oh no, I'm
sweet.
I'm
I might have to go and revisit it.
I think it got slept on for a long time. After it got nerfed, it used to just be ridiculous. Like, that was sort of the other class that made Geth farming trivial, because I think it had, like, a radius where it could hack multiple Geth at once, so, like, you had your own little Geth commando unit fighting for you.
And it lasted a lot longer, too, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And I think the other thing, you can't hack something 3 times, is that correct? You only do it
they
twice?
sort of become immune after, maybe 2 times. I think it's twice.
I think it was either 2 or 3, but it used to be you could just hack them as many times as you want. So you would just sit in Firebase White and then just keep hacking all the Geth, and they'd fight each other and you wouldn't have to do anything.
Talking robots.
Yeah. Like, it is funny hacking a Prime and seeing him just immediately turn around and elbow his drone, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, like, even against Geth, I feel like it's not... we're beating up on Sabotage, too.
Yeah, it no longer really serves its primary function. Although I guess, I feel like people will get mad if we don't talk about using it against Cerberus, because that's like definitely another huge, just kind of draw of the power, is hacking turrets and atlases. Yeah. Which, like, you have turrets with their insane DPS that, you just like waste 2 phantoms with, in 1 hack duration with it. And then, watching atlases, apparently people have told me they can sync kill enemy units, while they're hacked. I've never seen it happen myself, but that sounds awesome.
And neither have I.
I know you can get a Geth on Platinum, you can get a Geth sync killed from a Phantom.
Okay, yeah, I think I have heard of people saying they've, watched atlases just pick up and crush phantoms, which seems like an incredibly cathartic experience. So
I'm actually gonna check
more
on
Quarry
that.
and Infiltrator, maybe if you want to get in on some of that.
Well, you have to make sure the Atlas has at least ground pounded right before trying to sync kill a Phantom. So it'd be a pretty narrow experience, kind of like hacking a Geth. So the Phantom's like, oh, better slash that robot. He looked at me funny. He's objectifying me.
I've not seen, at least on the wiki, it doesn't say they can sync kill things. But I don't know. If that was the case...
It could be an urban legend for all we know.
Yeah, I mean, that would be extremely
like I
difficult
said,
to
I've never
produce,
witnessed
so.
it.
Yeah. I don't know. That would be really cool, but I agree that the hacking the turrets is fun, but to me it's more like a novelty, just like, more of than like an actual, like, strategy. I don't know.
Yeah. It really doesn't come into play that often.
Because most of all, I don't really play classes that have sabotage
And, like,
on.
usually your teammates just shoot the turret anyway, right?
Yeah. Because
like,
we gotta get those things out of there, man.
Yeah, like, I don't, some people get really mad about it. I don't begrudge them at all because, turrets are like the most dangerous enemy in the game.
Yes.
Watch your whole team run around a corner trying to revive each other as they get killed by a turret repeatedly.
Did you ever see on the BioWare forums, the Hey New Friend with the turret?
No.
Hold on. While you're talking about it, I will look up the picture of it. It's basically what you said. The team who gets caught in a turret trap and dies. And the turret's point of view, it's a new friend! Da-da-da-da-da. Hey, another friend's coming around! Da-da-da-da-da.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the picture of the turret is so adorable. The long barrel is the nose, and there's the 2 eyeballs right above it, and he's smiling as he kills the entire team.
I gotta see this now.
I
I
feel
have to
like
ask, I'm kind of naive to PC modding, but has somebody made a mod where the turrets get the turret vocals from Portal?
really? Oh my god, that would
Has
That would be a
somebody
great
done that?
idea, but I don't know. There's like there's a very limited modding scene for this game. I'm not sure whether it's just, people's actual enthusiasm for it, or just the fact that like BioWare designed the game to be not very moddable.
Oh.
I would
feel like
probably
that
go with
would
the latter.
just be so
more.
satisfying.
Oh my god, that turret is adorable.
I'm gonna look into my working directory.
Make sure you put that in the podcast
Fire
description.
structure.
so
I
that
will.
they-
If I'm remembering
Yeah.
when I'm editing, I'll make sure to put it in there. Otherwise, I'm sure someone will yell at me on Reddit.
We're describing things on a
Fix it.
podcast for audio stuff.
I'll put the link in the description.
Okay, well, I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
It's,
So-
oh man. It's really funny though. Alright, and then I think the only one we haven't talked about in super great depth is the, Quarian Infiltrator. I know we talked about sabotage sniping, but what does everybody think of her?
Sticky grenades, pretty good power.
Yeah, I think she's one of the
I like grenades a lot. That's me.
But
Yeah.
this, sticky grenades, I was about to say something John Madden. I was about to say,
Stick.
sticky grenades stick
Sticky
to
grenades
people,
go
right?
boom?
Yeah, that's what I was I was actually legit about to say that, so.
Say the thing about sticky
I kind of figured I didn't say that.
Does anybody actually use the proximity trap, Evo?
Yes, I do.
Is it okay?
Dude,
Like-
why? 40%
Why?
extra damage.
Yeah, I
Well,
usually.
when I
yeah.
snipe, I like the proximity trap Evo because if it's like, there could be someone over there, or it's a Geth Hunter. It's like I really don't feel like looking at the pixels to find out where the Geth Hunter is. I just throw the proximity mine evolution. It's like, oh, it'll get caught in the explosion somehow.
Alright, I mean, that makes decent sense. But that's like using proxy mine actually as a proximity mine, and that doesn't make any sense. Use it as a barrel grenade that debuffs. Come on.
Common
Yeah, let
sense
me
here,
see
Shredder.
this.
Jeez. You gotta know these things.
I use the Quarian, I use her as like a support sniper, because for me a lot of infiltrators are just about just like everything dies and it's me on the top of the scoreboard or else. With Quarian I feel like I put the duration cloak on, I take I do put a few points in sabotage because it's an okay support power kind of thing, and then sticky grenade, stuff like that. And then I put like the Viper on her or something like that. So it's just my excuse to not be like the crazy, just shoot to whoop, kill everything. So.
Well, I absolutely use her as a crazy shoot the whoop killer class.
Okay.
Yeah, I use a Crusader on her, which I think, I absolutely love that gun on her. And, it lets you have a 4.6664 build because you don't need, a sniper damage Evo. And yeah, she's just great. It plays pretty similarly to like a Silurian Infiltrator or a Turian Infiltrator, except you're not draining shields with your stunning power, but, your gun has 4 shots in it, and I don't know, I think it's kind of cool, just, you have, Tally using shotguns in, the single player game, so it's kind of, cool to have a Quarian with a shotgun, but you also don't have to be close range with it. You can snipe from mid to long range and just pop off those headshots.
Slightly off talk about lore. Why does Tally use a shotgun if Quarians are so frail? I mean, I know they have slightly above average
I don't know.
shields.
I never
but-
actually in Mass Effect 2 I modded it so that she used a sniper rifle instead of a shotgun because I thought
Was that you on the BSN that made that thread?
take
That
away
said,
her
like
being
she's
sick.
actually
I don't
really
think
good
so.
with it.
I don't post there.
Okay.
But this was this was back before ME3 came out. I just wanted to coalesce and change her loadout.
Okay, because that's interesting. I might have to try that because I mean, like I said, I don't play her that often, so I'll definitely have to try that out then. So
Yeah, it's really, the Crusader has that problem some people talk about where I guess it's not like truly hit scan, like there's a slight firing delay to the projectile
0.2
that can cause
seconds.
you to miss, against moving targets, but if you have sabotage, then, it stuns them in place, so that kind of just gets negated.
yeah,
So, synergy there.
yeah, I'll definitely have to try it because, like I said, like I don't
Yeah,
use it, so I give it a shot.
I can drop a build here and link it in the chat, but yeah,
Oh yeah, please do.
you guys continue discussing.
Well, I was gonna say, do we have anything else we want to talk about? Because we've been going for an hour and 2 minutes, so or ish, about an hour. Do we have anything else we want to say before we wrap up, or?
I mean,
I
I
love
think
all
we
of
covered
you.
pretty much everybody.
Well, we kind of glossed over the Krogans, if you ask me. We didn't really talk about Krogan
yeah, we didn't
Rage.
talk about Krogan Sentinel at all.
Oh
the
yeah, no, we didn't.
guy who we
Did we
didn't
not?
say anything about.
Krogan Sentinel's the man.
We kind of just
Lift
talked about.
grenades.
If grenades.
And Rage. Don't forget Krogan Rage, where you melee 3 people. Heck, you don't even, as long as you kind of did the heavy melee and it dies, then you yell really loud, and then you could headbutt more people.
Then you go on an acid trip if you're on Hazard Ghost. That's great.
or you go at hazard white and you can't see jack diddly.
Oh god, that's so annoying.
Yeah.
Does Incinerate Lift Grenade create a fire explosion?
No,
Oh,
lift
what?
grenade can only prime.
That's
Will
And
the
even
reverse then
it's a
will work?
very... Say again?
Will the reverse work then? Like lift grenade then incinerate?
Incinerate, because it'll create a biotic explosion if you try to lift grenade, because it'll lift in the air.
Oh,
Kind of like Bull.
yeah, it's a.
But the odds of that happening, it's kind of like the slam evolution at rank 6 for lift grenades. The odds of you seeing that are pretty low, because the target has to be in health first, before you can prime the effect, so even if they have one sliver of shield, they won't lift.
If they're
And
down
by
to
the time
health,
they're already down to all health, if you throw a lift grenade anywhere close to them, they will die.
yeah, does a lot.
Do you even lift grenades?
No, not very frequently.
Should have made me laugh like that.
Again, see, this is why I like this podcast, man. 'Cause now I'm thinking like, now I have to use the Krogan Sentinel again. I have to use the Krogan Infiltrator, like all these things that we're talking about. It's like, oh yeah, that is good. It's not the Geth Infiltrator, the Geth Trooper.
It's actually one of my favorite Sentinels. I like that guy a lot. He does a little
Me
bit
too.
of everything and does it really well.
He's meaty too. Big and thick. That nice little tail at the end.
Okay, I did not want
Just You know, to be fair, we talked about Astoria ass just very briefly. Feel like if
Engineered
Shredder likes some tail, then that's fine. You know, each their own.
Doesn't everybody like tail?
We're an equal opportunity podcast here.
And now people will make fun of me till the end of time for that one.
Oh yeah,
That's okay.
yeah. I was gonna say like,
I've done worse.
I can just
Leave our
see
judging hats at the door.
Salsa's confidence already.
Well,
And you have the Crusader 10, Dan? That's right, you maxed your manifest, didn't you?
Yeah, I have the Crusader 10.
Man,
But, I was using this before Crusader 10. You just, it does hit your cooldown a lot with the HV barrel, but hey, don't stay cloaked for too long.
Yeah.
You could use the Grawl too. It's kind of the same thing. I mean, instead of the 0.2 second firing delay, it's usually the projectile speed of the spikes. And you get the 2x headshot bonus too.
How's the Grawl for sniping? I've only used it a couple of times.
Same
You
as
have
the
to be on hose. That's one of those weapons that is pretty host reliant, if you ask me. Same thing with like the Kashak.
Is it like an actual multiple pellet spread though, in terms of how
No,
it
it's-
shoots?
very tiny.
One projectile, I believe.
No,
It shoots
6 little flechettes,
Okay.
I think. Let me check, because I know,
Every time I remember shooting it at like point blank against a wall, it would just be one center mass thing.
it's definitely very tiny, but there are separate flechettes in there. I will double check on the spreadsheet that I have.
I'm fairly positive it's 6 tiny flechettes and they're very tight, because the smart choke will still make it even tighter, if you can't believe
Why would you ever use that still? It feels like it's a sniper, basically, in shotgun form.
I wouldn't use
Alright.
it either, but I mean,
That's why I use the Crusader, right?
because it's a projectile though. All the armor piercing things don't work, so you might as well, I guess. Projectiles per shot is indeed 6. Yeah, so it shoots 6 flechettes, which is not bad. Like it has higher damage to compensate, and it already hits really hard anyway. So, and it stuns. So like, yeah, I don't know, Grawl, man. I wish I hosted more often, because then I would use it more, but I don't. So,
man, you guys talking about turning things into a sniper. I want to see you turn a sniper into a shotgun. I want to see that.
see, that's hard because they have the hip fire penalty, except for very few things. Like I think the Kashak doesn't at all.
Doesn't the Kishak not have one? I guess,
zero.
yeah, theoretically you could just go, CQC with the Kishak if you want to be a badass.
That's like a single shot weapon, though. I feel like, I don't know. The Raptor, you mentioned the Raptor last cast, didn't you, Shredder? That only reduces like 25%.
15% penalty for an 85%.
Okay, alright. See, like, that's vaguely usable as well. I don't know. I think, see, now I have to think about this, but I don't know if I can think of anything right now. But, yeah. See, I think now we've talked about all the classes, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else? We've been going for a while.
Challenge?
Yeah,
New challenge?
challenge. Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
okay,
Dan.
challenge.
Give us your worst.
Oh god. Man, I even knew about this beforehand and totally forgot to think of one. But let's
We're just
let's
that
make it
entertaining.
relevant to the cast here. I don't know. Let's see. If you
Or
guys,
you can make it guest related.
if you Xbox guys are playing, actually, yeah. You know what? Let's just if you Xbox guys are all playing in the same lobby, two of you guys do the Astoria Adept Drell Adept combo, and just do nothing but reave and warp for the entire game on the same enemies, and tell me how you did.
Sorry.
No,
And,
wait, we can't use grenades.
Third guy can play. I don't know. How about playing Astoria Vanguard? Because she's great too.
All right. You know, I like
And
this
she can
challenge.
use grenades.
I like
Actually,
use
yeah. You know
grenades?
what? Let's
Oh,
not put any restriction on powers. Let's do Astoria Adept, Drell Adept, and Astoria Vanguard.
Okay.
I feel like the Astoria Vanguard is the only really challenging thing in there. I mean, the Drell Adept and the Astoria Adept are really strong.
They're
Yeah, you just gotta
flimsy.
give her. It seems like the strategy is to give her a decent gun and kind of go for grenade spam and weapon damage hybrid.
Yeah, the two most challenging things I can foresee there are the Drell Adept and the Astoria Vanguard having to share grenade pools. But
You know what? You're right about that.
listen,
Okay, Drell Adept doesn't use grenades. That's the challenge. So the Vanguard
shouldn't have said anything. Fuck. Damn it. All right,
Okay,
I mean,
how about for Shredder?
Fuck. I didn't think this one through.
he likes grenades. Make him not use grenades.
Well,
Didn't
see,
we
that's
do
just
that last
boring.
time?
You
Yeah.
already did that the first time.
Actually, wait, Shredder, dude, let's just play a game at some point this week and use those two classes.
Alright,
Oh,
That's
I'm not
right.
playing Ansari
Too.
to save myself.
Alright. Okay. Both of them are two of my favorite classes, so I can play either.
Sounds great.
well,
God,
that'll be a fun
very
challenge this week.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm down. I was gonna say, like, if you couldn't think of one, I had in the back of my head, use any, or like a class that had any of the three bad powers that we talked about, like either pull, decoy, or
Oh
sabotage.
shit, that's a pretty good one too.
Yeah. That was what I was gonna go with. But
But we
I
too
think I
late.
like yours
It's been
better.
said.
late.
Let's play something I like for once.
Yep.
Man, I
Bless
should
your
have
heart, hope to die.
just made it way simpler and just said use any of the classes we talked about in a game.
Oh, that's, I already used all those.
That's
like,
boring.
Challenge.
Yeah, Reaper Gold. Yeah, Quarry and Engineer. That's hard. I don't
Honestly,
I like
using
this.
Astoria and Drell Adept, that's not much of a challenge either. Maybe play Platinum, I guess.
Okay, then we'll play without grenades. How about that?
I feel like with grenades, like if we're on Platinum, I feel like we gotta use grenades then, because
Yeah.
Okay.
No, if you
I'm
play
just-
Astoria Vanguard without grenades, you're probably gonna have a pretty bad time.
like I'm just
Unless
not
you
a
do, like, a
Platinum
full
player,
sniping
so I don't want to
rifle.
get myself anymore. So not at that point just yet. Getting
Now's
there.
the time to make that transition, Jonah.
Yeah, I'd rather do it with the Geth Trooper, where I can just melt everything and then be like, oh. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, this is a good challenge. We could
And
end
my
it then?
challenge last week was so much better. But you know,
That it, yeah.
Hey,
So,
yo.
I mean,
Where
last
can we
week.
find you,
What?
Dan?
No, we didn't
Oh.
do a podcast last week and just have it
Saying
Yeah,
like
I
a
know.
week
waste the night
ago,
for us.
we could go. You're just like thinking, just laying in bed, just like, oh man, I think I have a really good challenge.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the podcast at all.
so if anybody wants
These
to,
things, they happen.
if anybody wants to find you, Dan, where can they do that?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have like a Twitter or anything that I post thoughts to. Send me a message on Reddit, I guess. My account, Jinja_ninja. Spell Jinja like ninja. Don't send me emails. I don't want to give people my email address
Makes sense.
and all that. But yeah, so, thanks a lot guys for inviting me on. It's been an awesome time.
Yeah, it's
have
been
you.
great to have you. All right, and with that, I think this has been the Extraction Dome Podcast, Episode 3. Thank you all very much for listening in. Hopefully, if you're listening to this on YouTube, you hit that subscribe button and like it and all that fun stuff that we gotta say because it's on YouTube. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.